Hello, everybody. So we are about to start the first roundtable of the afternoon, 3D fashion in practice, with great speakers. So let me introduce them, and they will present themselves. Grégoire Villerval, Justine Villegrain, Steven Passaro, Valentine Fruchard, et Christian Martin. So maybe, Grégoire, you can start by introducing yourself in 3 minutes.
Hello everybody, I'm Grégoire Villarval. I'm a 3D fashion designer. At the beginning I have a brand, his name is Eclore, and my 3D fashion studio is Kotoma Lab. Behind me you can see a campaign we did for G-Shock. It's a watch brand. And my studio is specialized in 3D design for production, product development, and campaign, AR and VR project.
Good, thank you. Justine?
Hi everyone, my name is Justine Villegrain. I'm the co-founder of Bro House, which is a creative studio specialized in digital art and experimental commercial. So we were founded in 2018 with the idea of elevating digital artists. We were kind of bored of what we saw in terms of campaign, like advertising campaigns. So we wanted to use the model of 3D to be able to go above the limitation of gravity and what's limited from what you can film in the real world. So today we have over 380 digital artists, and we represent digital artists as well across the globe. We work with various brands to create 3D campaign as well as strategy into the Web3 space. So we work a lot with the blockchain, and we do a large-scale exhibition to bring digital arts in more physical spaces.
Thank you. Steven?
Okay, perfect. So hello everyone, my name is Steven. I'm the founder and creative director of my eponymous brand. I've been working with 3D fashion from the beginning. To me, it was really about how we can change the process for product development and to be more sustainable in the industry. What you see behind me was just released last week for Paris Fashion Week. It was during the show. How even for like complex design and for couture, how we can use 3D sampling to develop products. So you had the runway looks after showing the 3D sampling.
Looks nice. Justine? No, it's Valentine, sorry.
Hi, my name is Valentine, and I'm running the Green Fabric. It's a textile fab lab in Brussels. So the idea is to share machines and knowledge about textile and to innovate on the textile industry. It's also a co-working space, and we are working with fabric leftovers. We have a small fabric upholstery then only with leftover, and we are working with the Fabric Academy. It's distributed formation on textile and technology. So it's a formation that I did 3 years ago, and that we are giving in Brussels, and it's distributed training, so you can follow it in Paris, in Brussels, in Amsterdam, and everything. And it's very interesting about the link between textile and technology and the innovation about textile.
Thank you. Christian?
Okay. So my name is Christian Martin. I'm based in San Francisco. I moved to America 14 years ago. And I'm in charge of the Fashion Tech Lab and a company called Disrupt for Style. So my activities with my team is more about the immersive retail experience and immersive hybrid 3D and real experience. So I told Alice that the timing is that last week in San Francisco, the retail store called Westfield, you know Westfield, which is the #1 retail chain in the world, decided to close down the big mall on Market Street, which is a big issue. So today in America, the issue is to reinvent the experience in the store and to use the 3D technology we just show on the screen, but to reinvent the experience in the store. So fashion is still a business where women and men, they need to touch the product, they need to try the product. So everything around the avatar, everything around the 3D is interesting, but only if you bring back the people in the store. So the hybrid experience is important. It's what I am doing in San Francisco.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you for introducing our discussion. But my first question for you would be, why have you started to work on virtual fashion projects and 3D retail experiences? And I'm asking it because I know that some of you at least have started working with 2D fashion, and I would like to know what has been your path and towards 3D fashion projects. Anyone? Yes?
I can start. Yes, yeah, I start with 2D design because 3D design in fashion is very, very new. I start 4 years ago just because it's very long to develop a product in 2D. You have a lot of fabric to have to buy, to have to sew. It's a very long process. So with the 3D, I found a new way to do it more quickly with less fabric. So it's very interesting, and it's better for also the creativity because you can try it in real time and move some pocket, some print, what you want, and in a very quick moment. So it's I think it's a very a very big new moment for the fashion and the design in general.
Thank you.
On my end, when we started in 2018, we were pitching to brands the idea that they needed to have 3D environment, avatar, and 3D fashion inside the commercial. We definitely didn't get any project at the time. Everyone wanted their real clothing, their real model. So it was a long journey to make brands understand that that was the way innovation was going to go towards. In one hand for sustainability, and the other hand as well as the 3D of the 3D. So today every website is pretty flat, and the user need to be immersed, like you were saying, in an environment. So it was kind of a journey until today where everyone is kind of understanding. I'll say I got into the space because I was interested in the 3D, like in art in general and digital art. And that's how it was like kind of a path on getting to do commercial work with 3D art.
Okay, pretty clear. Any other?
Yes, so to me, I was studying at LCF at the time, and you know, you're asked to produce so much in a very short time. So my idea after graduating was like, okay, we need to change first the pace, and second, the ways we produce. So I moved back to Paris in 2019, where I decided to train myself to clothes 3D and now style 3D. And it was really the beginning of the journey of, okay, from the 2D, how implementing the 3D can change things. And now we basically avoid 200 samples per year because it takes you 1/3 of the time in 3D than making it in 2D. So to me, it was a win-win for every part of the business.
Okay.
For me, as a Fab Lab, it's necessary to work with the new technologies, and the 3D modelization is a very nice way to answer the sustainability problems in the clothing industry. And so we really want to to show the people using the Fab Lab that they can have technologies and 3D modelization to answer the issue. And as a lot of new brands are working with fabric leftovers and everything, it's a nice way to visualize in 3D, because they cannot use like 1 or 2 meter to sample, and then they only have like 5 meter left. So it's a very nice way to work with leftover fabric, recover fabrics, and to gain in predictability.
Yes.
Okay, on my side, I am really interested because it's the only way to go the fitting and the customized fashion experience. So the reality is that in the Silicon Valley, people, the VC and the startupper, they think the retail experience is broken. It's definitely broken. Okay, you cannot have the product you want. Okay, you have the size problem. In America, in California, we have Mexican, we have Indian, we have Chinese people. So the size of body fitting is very different. So I started to be involved in this technology because of the fitting. Okay, and now the situation is that people working on the production side to reduce the cost, or if you continue to go fast fashion, I'm not sure it's the direction we work in the Silicon Valley. In the Silicon Valley, we want to reinvent the store experience, and we want to know your body size. So everything around your avatar is very interesting. So you can try on the screen virtually, but it's for your body. So everything around fitting, made to measure, haute couture back, quality. So you want only one product. It's the contrary of the fast fashion. So my interest in this technology is how to go back to the made to measure, high quality, haute couture business. It's where you have creativity again, and you have only one product for you, and it's the cost can be reduced, but we really go back to where haute couture was 50 years ago, 50. Okay, when it was Christian Dior and Courage. So the retail again experience is broken. The fast fashion is dead. Okay. So now in Silicon Valley, we want to go back to made to measure and to use this technology to visualize you on the screen, to help you to produce, to create, to try. The try-on technology is very interesting, but we need to go back to the retail store experience with this technology.
Okay, so we see very different reasons, but something is questioning me. When you say that it's saving time at the prototyping level, you also said it's relevant regarding the waste. However, if you gain time, how can you say that this technology is helping to tackle the sustainable problematic of the fashion industry? Because we know that if we go faster, it's a problem for the environment. Sorry, this question wasn't planned, but it's just your both remarks that make me think about this question.
But I think the answer is just what Christian say. It's like we are gonna change and have a more fitting with the garment. So you're not gonna buy a lot of clothes and say, okay, 80% does not suit me, so I'm not gonna wear them. But if you can have the right fitting of the clothes, so you can have clothes that really suit you, and so you're not gonna waste them. So I think it's one part of the answer.
And to me, we save time on the development, and the time we save, we use it for the making. Because what you've seen, we produce in-house. So when you can spend more time on the actual making, then the quality is there as well. Because there's one thing you can't deny in fashion: for the good quality, you need time.
Thank you. So my second question is, could you give some example of significant 3D fashion projects or 3D fashion retail projects? We have seen some in your beautiful videos, but maybe there are other significant examples that you would like to mention?
So we work a lot with the brand called Kenzo, and I think an interesting campaign we did. It was a shoe campaign, and they asked us to put the Mont Fuji in the back, and then the campaign went to Japan, and the team in Japan was like, "We can't have the Mont Fuji in that campaign," and in a time of literally an hour, we could remove it. So like, it's not related necessarily to fashion, but it's the ability that 3D have of changing very fast something and being able to display a product that doesn't exist yet. I think that's the future where we're going towards, is really like producing in 3D, like you mentioned, being able to showcase to your community, see how people are reacting, and see if further away you're going to produce it in physical or like in retail. Then you can change display, use AR to put on social media. So it's the new way of how, yeah, I think the wearing clothing to showcase on social media is mostly what people are doing in today's society.
Stick better to the demands.
Yeah, and for example, another idea, it's at Vivatech 2 weeks ago, I think. LVMH show all the new technology with an avatar, a virtual avatar. His name is Livy, and so we can't put the avatar without garment. So we did all the garment for Livy for Vivatech. So we digitalize 3 look, Loewe look, Kenzo look also, and Fendi look. And so it's very important for the future because lot of part of fashion industry are more and more digital in the future. So you have to prepare all your collection and archive collection and all your stuff like accessories, trims, and you have to digital all the furnitures. Yes.
Okay. Any other example? No. So let's go to the third question. Do we have any data about 3D fashion impact in terms of revenue and on the environment? I know it's quite new, but do we have, maybe you, Christian, aware about some data?
Well,
I'm asking it because I guess that the early adopters are gamers. I don't know anyone who has already bought an NFT, for instance. That's why I'm asking you if we already have significant data about the market for 3D fashion.
To answer, I don't want to be negative, okay, but the situation is, let's talk about business, okay? Today, Westfield, which is again the #1 retail chain in the world, okay? The headquarters are in Paris. Westfield was Australian. They closed down the #1 store in San Francisco last week. So it's equivalent here. You close the Galeries Lafayette and the Printemps. So you really kill the city life, okay? So you cannot go Galeries Lafayette, you cannot go Samaritan to see, to touch, to have fun, okay? So the situation in the Silicon Valley is that the VC and the startuppers, they know that the retail fashion experience is broken, very broken, destroyed. And you close down the store. So to answer Alice's question is that I met in the last years several startup company with a 3D product, with 3D good software. But if you look back at the success of this product, it's not okay, it's not good. It's a kind of a gimmicky, okay? So the gamer, you asked a question about the gamer are not in fashion. Okay, so you can visualize. So everything you did for Kenzo, for example, when you do a fashion show, it's very interesting to use 3D to visualize. You give dream, or Kenzo, you give the history of the brand is Japanese, or Balenciaga, or Fendi, it's Italian. Okay, so my answer is that today, in the last 5 years, a lot of this company failed, because it was created by men, by geek people. And the situation is that, again, I think that fast fashion is really dead, okay? So you have a lot of t-shirt or product in your closet, you don't use them. So my vision is that you are going to have less product, but made on your body. So when a woman try a made-to-measure dress or any type of clothes, it's magical. You feel different. And if the quality of the fabric is high, you keep the product. You can give the product to a friend, to your daughter if you're a mother. Okay. So back to your question, as a reality check, like we say in America, the starters were not very successful. They failed. The body sizing technology is very mature now, so we can scan your body and have exactly the size of your body. So we can ask the creator to create something for your body, and you can visualize you on the screen using 3D. But again, you need to touch the product, you need to go to the store. So the vision is that this type of technology is to be integrated in the store experience. So you will have camera in the store, you will have maybe a workshop in the store to find the fabric. So again, if you go back to 50 years ago, when it was Courrèges and Christian Dior, all this culture of the haute couture, we do believe in the Silicon Valley, say we are going to go back to this history, which is a very good news. I'm not sure it's a very good news for the workshop in Bangladesh or in Pakistan, but the reality is that we go back to a quality, and it's very sustainable. Okay, and we give back a very good opportunity for the creative people, for the designer. Okay, so to answer your question about the feedback is that we have two directions. One direction is that the 3D is used to have your avatar to help you to visualize you with this product, but you need to go back to the store to have the store experience in the city. And one of the 3D technology is used when you do a display, a fashion show. You can have a VR fashion show. If you live in San Francisco, you can see the fashion show in Paris. So I do believe in this type of experience, but it's different than to have the right clothes for your body. So it's two different directions.
Okay. Yes.
So the stat I have is that last year, 15% of people buying online in the UK, so 50% purchasing online, was just to post one social media picture. So they post a social media picture with their clothing, and then they never wear that clothing again, which is another issue is with influencer, this new job that exists now, where brands are sending them clothing every day. They need to wear it, post on social media, and then they're not wearing it anymore. They're just convincing people to buy the same asset that them, and those people are going to buy it because they want to become like their influencer. Well, today with the 3D and new technology, by using AR, you can be wearing and advertising a full outfit without actually having the physical outfit. So imagine how many influencers are being sent, the same brand, the same outfit across the globe. That first can be like taking off because we can just produce in 3D on top of the influencer.
Yes. Would you like to say something, maybe, Valentine, about the impact on the environment? Because we know that, for instance, the NFTs is something which has a cost regarding the ecology. So, have you, at your scale, maybe compared the classical way of making garment with the impact of making 3D fashion products?
At my scale, I don't think I really can see the difference because it's like small creatives, small brands, and they are making a small quantity. So they are the 3D allow them to get like better results. So it's very important, and to have, like I said, a simple process that's it's linear and not like making one sample and just making the pattern again and again. So I think it's for them it's very nice. For the impact, environmental impact, I think if it can allow to reduce clothes consumption and textile footprint by all the clothes that you're never gonna wear, I think it very can be positive. Yeah, but
No, I just want to clarify NFT. NFT is just the technology of the blockchain in the Web3 space. Fashion industry can go towards the NFT. It's not necessarily like, it hasn't been proven yet, like how much pollution does the blockchain impact. But what is good for any kind of brand the blockchain can appear is that you can trace where is your secondary market at. So therefore, you like we were saying, now we're going to go back into creating much more tight, like tailored clothing. So it's going to be more expensive, but that value can last over time. As well, if we push the thing further, I can know exactly where does my dress come from, because the tiny little thing on my dress, I can trace it through the blockchain. So I think for me, the blockchain is a good direction towards sustainability for the big brands to not lie to us, being like, this is green, I'm putting a green logo. I can see that it's not green because I can trace it. So as of now, sending an email to all of your client base, for me, it's more polluting than just tracing where does my clothing necessarily come from. And I have more impact of tracing that than receiving thousands of email.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in fashion, NFT is new labels. It's very the target for the fashion. It's to have all the garment with the NFT. So you don't have to sue the physical label, and you have all the information, and probably like the yarn, all the information, not just the provenance of the garment.
And you can ask your community. So if you have like 1,000 holder of your NFT, they're part of your community. You can ask them like, hey guys, we're gonna be doing showcasing this new outfit. What do you think? Oh, I like it, but it's only this community that's been tailored because they bought this NFT that can vote and have their voice towards how is the brand gonna go, like embrace and flourish.
Yeah, but it's just that when we see the whole picture, we know that each time we put information on internet and we create avatars and whatever the images that we are creating, they are all stocked on big computer, and that's also costing in terms of energy. And it's of course, I don't think we have the necessary record, like to say it's something which is helping or not, because it's clear that regarding the transparency of the value chain, it's the best technology that we can find on the market to really track our products. But despite that, we know that, and you have certainly things to say about it, we know that all the data are somewhere on the network and are costing energy, and especially when we talk about the blockchain technologies, which is very demanding.
Yeah, I agree with you. So to give you another, I think we can compare the fashion industry and the beauty industry, okay? Beauty industry, about makeup, you already have augmented reality application. When you see your face with a filter, you can play with Instagram, everything, okay? So you really have two directions. One is you have your cosmetic and makeup application on Instagram. You can play with. You can be part of in social media, marketing, advertising, everything. But the reality is that, to give you this information, Sephora, LVMH, Sephora Innovation Lab in America is in San Francisco. It's a huge building on Market Street. And the reality is that the women, they use, a part of the human, the young people, they use augmented reality application on the mobile. But the truth is that they go to the store to try to have fun with their friends, with the salespeople. So when you go to Sephora in Paris or in San Francisco or in New York, you have a lot of salespeople, so you have a lot of people to help you. You have a lot of creativity in the display. You have new brand, and you love to go to the Sephora store to have fun, to have experience, and you buy. So you really have two directions. So it's the reason why we need to be very, how to say, realistic that you have technology 3D, okay, to, again, in the store, on television, when you have the fashion show, to visualize the fashion show on VR. So I truly believe in this type of technology and project. But the truth is that beauty and fashion is something very sensual, physical. So you want to go to the store. You want to try, you want to touch the fabric. So we need, the industry need to be very realistic. Again, in a city like Paris or San Francisco or New York, 70% of the store are fashion and beauty. So if people doesn't go to the fashion and the beauty store, you kill the life of the city. So the mayor of Paris and the mayor of San Francisco today are working with Westfield, with the store brand, how we reinvent the experience. So in the next few months, you are going to see in San Francisco a lot of new VR type of game in the store, in Christian Dior, in LVMH, in Kering, in Gucci, because the women, they want to go to have this experience, but they need to touch it. Okay, so again, look at the fashion, the cosmetic and the makeup industry. Go to the Sephora to see how it's working. They didn't integrate very sophisticated AR screen and camera in Sephora. No, they didn't do it. They tried it, but it failed. Because the women, they didn't want that. They wanted to touch it, to put the lipstick on, to have fun, to smell the perfume. So again, fashion and beauty is a sensual industry. It's all about seduction, beauty, you fit your body, and we need to think in terms of how this technology can create the business. And the business is, it's a hybrid, like you say, hybrid and real world. Okay? So today, the number one issue in San Francisco is that how we convince people to go back to the city to do shopping, to go into Sephora, to go into the mall, to recreate the life and this experience.
Okay, but also we know that a young generation of consumer, they are, as you said, and we have all experienced it, are already buying through the social networks almost. So why, in this case, like, why is it so important to keep this physical experience alive?
Because life, the human is a social animal. We are a social animal. You get dressed because you want to seduce people. Okay, you are on social media, but the reality is that if you don't want to become crazy, you need to go to a real event. It's the psychology and the sociology who say that.
So it's for our mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the reason why.
That's the answer I was expecting.
Yes.
I think on top of that is more like how the society is being built. Today, you give an iPad to a 3-year-old, they know how to like literally use it more than the grandma. So that 3 years old, when it's going to be 10 or 12, you can't just give them an iPad. You need to give them something that is new and different to them. So it's how we, being involved, we went from the BlackBerry of like a 2D screen to like being immersed on our iPhone. So even in retail store or online, everyone needs to be renewed. 10 years ago, brand didn't have a website, and everyone was like, you need to have a website. They didn't have social media. They were like, okay, let's put an intern and have a social media account. Now it's like 100 people taking care of one social media account. So it's just like the continuity, like you mentioned, oh, the blockchain is not necessarily sustainable. No one mentioned and questioned if YouTube was sustainable. So it's mostly like the innovation of how we're moving forward within the technology. Now we have AI. We have so many like new up technology that's coming up to us, and I think just people are scared and backing up. And in like 2-3 years, it's going to be everywhere, and everyone's going to be like, how did we live without this? So it's more like how we moving forward.
Yes. I had this question too, but you have already partly answered it. Do you think that 3D fashion can bring important changes in the value chain, and at which levels? Maybe Stephen, you can say something about it.
I think I will join Christian on what I'm going to say is really, to me today I have clients, they come to me because they want the nice fashion, but they want the tailored experience. So they buy usually big brands, Christian Dior, Dries Van Noten, other brands like that. And they come to me because, well, you're younger and you have the craftsmanship and you're also innovative. So when I tell them, well, we're going to take your measurements and then put them on the avatar so you can have a look at your 3D avatar with the custom outfit, they're like, whoa, wow, happy. Which is new, very niche, very new. So it's a plus for them to project themselves before even paying the full price of the item or anything. They can already see this an experience. And then when we make the actual garment, we do the alterations, for the length, for the hem of the trousers, for instance, or the waist. We adjust as much as possible the items. So definitely 3D has a plus for the customer. Even I would love to integrate it on my website. Of course, it's a bit expensive still for now. But some platform you have the 3D object when you can rotate around it. You can look at, you zoom in, see the texture. And it's getting better and better with so many platforms, add-ons that you can find on the internet. So of course there's a plus. And on the other hand, in terms of communication, when you start showing like 3D silhouette, they're like, oh my God, you're doing NFT or metaverse. And like, no. We're not going to jump in that because I don't believe in it, to be honest. The metaverse for fashion, we love connections. We want to touch, see, and feel. And I think if you're sitting at home in a VR Quest, whatever, or the new Apple glasses coming very soon at a very expensive price, I don't think it's the real human connection that we're looking for at the human center. So that's my point of view on the subject.
I would like to add something about the business. Okay, if you look the big brand in haute couture, if you discuss with the guy in charge of the financial, they will tell you that the margin is built on the bag or the shoes. The margin are not based on the clothes. So today the situation is that the retail store is broken, experience is broken, but the haute couture is a little bit broken. Why? Because if you go today's you have a fashion show in Paris. If you go a fashion show, even if you have unlimited budget, if you look at the Vogue magazine this month, you see, I want this product. This product is maybe 2,000, 3,000 euros. But if you go to the store, they don't have it. It's too late. So you have the window of opportunity to buy this product just after the fashion show or the week of the fashion show, or because you saw that on Vogue magazine, you cannot get the product. So the fashion show is made, why? To sell the bag. So the most important person in the fashion house is the design team in charge of the bag or the shoes or the scarves, because the margin are high, okay? So they make the money on that. So the bottom line is that you cannot buy the clothes, you see? And it's the reason why the haute couture is a kind of broken industry. So with technology now, you can go back to haute couture like it was 50 years ago.
Is it not rather that haute couture is it's a kind of advertising?
Yes.
I mean, there's two things, if I can just precise, because there's haute couture and there's luxury brands. It's two different things. So this week is the haute couture week, and I get what you're saying, because the haute couture is not profitable as a business. It's here to say, to make your dream and get into the vision of the house, and at the end of the day, you're going to buy the perfume, the bag, the shoes. And that's where they make the money. But in terms of clothing, we know most of fashion luxury brands. Now it's a bit changing because I know of some numbers, I can't say anything, but some brands, they now have opportunity to sell more clothes than actually leather goods. A good example is McQueen. I know they sell a lot of ready-to-wear, and the bags doesn't sell, for instance. But I think coming to this idea of haute couture or luxury, more made to measure to mainstream fashion, is a goal, and it's needed for many reasons: sustainable reasons, economical reasons, quality. But it's also we need to teach the consumer, because then when I speak to my friends, they're like, "Oh, but you're expensive, or this is expensive." I'm like, "Yes, but your T-shirt you buy at whatever Shein platform for like €5, in 2 washes, it's over. Whether you buy that T-shirt with made in Europe, organic cotton, with the long fibers, everything, gonna last you at least 2 years. So at the end of the day, you're gonna spend less money." So again, I join you on that, but I think it's teaching people to to understand that.
So in the end, what we know already is that made-to-measure fashion is, as you said, broken because it's that the final consumer, they are not ready to pay the final real price of it, and we all have experienced it. Like it's almost impossible to make made-to-measure with the traditional way because in the end, the people, they are not ready to pay the right price of it. So none of you, I guess, is following this road right now, except maybe in the wedding high-in-range sector. But my question is, would you say that making a fully 3D fashion business model business model based on 3D fashion product, would it be is that profitable in the end? Is it more a service industry?
Yeah, for the moment it's a service industry because there is very not very lot of very not very sorry. There is no lot of consumer today. For the moment, you have two company, Dressix and 010, to propose some virtual garment to buy it. And in the metaverse, you can buy a virtual garment to put on your avatar. So you have two way to buy and sell 3D garments. So it's very the beginning, but you have to think about that because you can sell very low price product, and to have like your bag industry or whatever, just you can sell little price and with for a lot of people. So, and it's not a big cost for the brand. So for the future, yeah, it's I think it's a target for a big brand.
Okay.
And I think on talking about DressX, so DressX is an application you can purchase 3D garment and put on yourself. So that was the back to social media posting. Something interesting they did during a fashion show is that at the fashion show you could wear an AR all of the clothing that was showcased in the fashion show. So it created like a kind of 360 commercial advertising. Like you mentioned, those people will not necessarily have, like, be able to go and purchase those assets, but they get purchased it in 3D, do their social media content, as well as wearing it during the défilé, after the défilé, wearing the full outfit and be like, okay, that could fit me. Maybe I'll go in the store and buy it. So now there isn't virtual, but brands are mixing virtual clothing with the real clothing to match their avatar, as well as to create completely virtual collection to see, okay, is this being working for my community or not?
Thank you. My last question is, many big fashion players have already invested in 3D fashion projects. However, only few of them are really integrating 3D fashion into their business models. What would you advise to brands that would like to do so and retailers? Because you said a word about your clients. we know that most of the fashion brands that we know are not tech savvy, internally speaking. So, what would be your advice to classical fashion brands who would like to integrate 3D into their business model? How can they manage? Should they subcontract? What kind of things? And
I think it's the facility that it has. Like the collection doesn't need to be there. We can just have like a patron, and then like we can do anything. So they want to have their clothing inside like an on-existing environment, like that's doable. An example, I worked on a campaign with the PSG, so I was scanning the PSG player, some really big guys, and they usually have 3 minutes per commercial work. So in normal advertising, they basically in a large space like this, and you have the player for 3 minutes to take the picture, and then they move on, and you can pay much more to have him 5 minutes stay in your booth. So now we scan it, and now we could do whatever we want. So it's not because we didn't have the picture of him raising his hand, we could just have him raising his hand. So it's like the ability of there isn't any limitation of creativity and everything is possible. You want to showcase to your customer all of the fabrics inside your clothing, then you can like assemble all of those different assets into one.
yes, Steven?
I think I would say starting small. It's really funny because even today, big groups, big brands, they start to look at it. They don't know how to start with it. They don't have the people trained with 3D fashion. It's actually they call Grégoire and myself to schools to teach students, to teach people. So it's changing. They know they have to move to 3D fashion and to pattern cutting because there's laws happening with Loi AGEC. You can't do waste now and everything. So, and of course, they want to be profitable. So when you tell them, well, we avoid 200 samples per year on a very small level for 2 collections, imagine how much money they can save on like so many references they have per year plus X amount of collection, X amount of brands. So it represents a huge budget. The transition is happening. It's very slow, but it's there. I know for Balenciaga is doing some, Balmain have been doing some, Givenchy, Dior is looking at it, for instance, Lacoste on like another level. They're all looking at it because they know it has to be done.
And I think that they can look at it as a tool also. It's like in the construction field, they like 10 years ago, they start 3D modelizing the buildings. And nobody wants to do it because it's like, oh my God, we're gonna have to learn how to model it, and it takes so much time, and we don't have people trained. And finally, like they all jump in, and they are like saving a lot of time because now if they are making a modification and all the plans and everything is gonna be modified, and it's also super important to keep the information and to track the information. And I think all the brands are gonna have to deal with where the fabrics come from and how it was made and what the social condition, worker condition. And I think it's a very good tool to have all the information per garment, per clothes kept, and it's so it's also I know it's also a tool, and they also can use it to sell, and so I really think it's a nice opportunity for them.
Okay, so on my side, again, I want to compare fashion industry and cosmetic and beauty industry and food industry. Okay, food. So you can watch food picture on internet, but at the end of the day, you need to go to a restaurant, and you love when in the restaurant you can see the kitchen, so you can see the raw materials they use in the kitchen, you see the cook, and you have the meal on your table, okay? So I do believe that the fast fashion went too far, okay? So I do believe that the 3D visualization is interesting for social media, but I do believe that fashion, like beauty and food, we need to go the real life. We need to go to the store. We need to have advice. We need to have good design, okay? And we need to have made to measure to fit your body and your style. So I'm very optimistic, but I think that we are going to go back to the Courage and Christian Dior time when it was made to measure. So on Market Street, you have Levi's. They can do the blue jean with a customized product. You have the workshop in the store, and I'm quite convinced that all the brands are going to go with the real workshop in the store. You are going to have technology just to help you to know your size, and you are going to have we are going to go back to the made to measure and a little bit high style and high fashion to avoid to kill the planet. It's the bottom line. And people who are going to be more elegant and more beautiful. Because when you travel, last thing, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I travel a lot. And when you travel, you have a kind of ugly style, which was in the mood the last 10 years. And if you look back the fashion shows the last 2-3 years, you have back a more sophisticated beauty. You have tie for the man, nice dress for the woman. So I'm very optimistic, but I think we are going to go back to a more feminine style, made to measure, with good product. You will know the product, the fabric it's made with. So I think we go this direction.
Okay, so we just have a few minutes for questions from the audience. So anyone in the audience would like to ask something to our speakers about 3D fashion? Anyone? Don't be shy. Are you already working with 3D technologies in your companies?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I want to ask to Stephen about the difficulties transitioning from 2D to 3D product development.
I would say the accuracy today are a bit like more or less the average would be 80% accurate, up to 90. At the beginning, it was a lot of like training, so I will still do toiling to make sure and understand the visualization between the 3D figure and the real model. And then at some point, I just quit that stage because I was like, okay, now I know more or less. I know the issues of the representation of the 3D. At the time, it was on Cloud 3D. So of course, at the beginning, it's a bit hard, more difficult. But working on 2D from like papers and pencil and to the 2D part on the software, easy. As a designer, I wanted to work with Lectra, for instance. And when I saw the interface and everything, I was like, hell no, this is not for me. This is too old school and Windows, whatever. Whether when you move to Clo or Steel 3D or Browseware, you have this interface very close to Illustrator. So to you, it's really like, it's more, the UX is more designer friendly, I would say. And everything is here to help you to make the journey easier. It's then more on the accuracy of the garment when you need to have a bit of practice before being sure of what you're designing.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
About the fabrics and trims, how do you represent in Cloud 3D?
So today I work with Style 3D, and what we do is actually when we do the sourcing, we scan the materials with the scanners, and then we translate it directly to the design. So the video we've seen at the beginning, I send them because we didn't have the scanner at the time, I send all the fabric we use in the 3D, and they scan everything, so the physical aspects, but also the mechanical aspects, they have the weight, they measure the transparency, the weft, and everything to add onto the virtual fabric.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Yes?
Thank you for this very interesting conversation. I want to ask a question to Christian. So, because you strongly talked about the quality of the clothes, and I really agree with you. But I want to know when I meet people even rich people, like if they don't work in the fashion industry, they don't know actually how to select a good quality of fabrics and as well. So like we say that the stores are broken and like this, but still, yes, so we need to see the fabrics, but still I think we need to educate people about the quality and like that. And how do you say about that? And even also with the 3D things, like 3D actually doesn't really represent the 100% of this quality. So yeah, in the point of view.
I love this question. I love this question. 5 years ago, the luxury industry in France, marketing study, an independent market study, did a study to understand what was the number one, the priority of the luxury industry, so LVMH, Kering, these companies. And the number one problem they had was the training of the salespeople. The training of the salespeople inside the shop. Why? Because even today, if you go maybe 70% of the store in Paris, you ask the salesperson, what is this fabric? Where is it made? Which type of product it is? You have no answer. You have no answer. So you need to go to Christian Dior or Hermes because they have a very strong training program for the salesperson. You have the answer. So it's the reason why we are back to the food industry. You know, 10 years ago, people, they didn't know about what they were eating, okay? Now we are very concerned about where the food come from, where is it made, how, for our health. So fashion industry has exactly this issue. People are doesn't have the culture or the education to understand what is the quality, why this product is more heavy, why it's more solid, why this dress is going to be more supple to fit with your body. So this culture has been lost. Why? Because the volume, because the growth of the industry, and because this industry was driven by the CFO to make money. Just to make money. You know, I remember Bernard Arnault used to say Karl Lagerfeld was very good because he was good for creativity and he was good for business. He used to go to the store to say, oh, this product, this bag, this is going to be sold. Okay? So back to your question, I love this question because everything is about training, quality of fabric, how you design the product, and you need to have good designer from the good school. And I'm very optimistic. I think the women are going to go back to, I know this product, I'm going to kill 50% of my garment product. I throw them out. And I keep the high quality product. I want to keep them. So your question is very, very good. Training, culture, where does the product come from? Is it a local product? Do we need to reinvent the silk industry in France, for example, in Lyon or not? Is it possible financially? So it's a very, very good question. So to be successful, you need to train your people because you need to explain the customer. If you buy this product, it's because the quality of the fabric, the quality of the design. So it's all about culture and education and sales training. Thank you for your question.
And just
Yes.
one thing, yeah, and 3D, I think, yeah, 3D can help the brand to show how it's made, and if it's a good fabric, you can make a video or whatever, but yeah, 3D can show the backstage of your creation.
You know, something just funny about haute couture, you can do what I call a blind test. You know what is a blind test? So you close your eyes, you take two dress, and when it's high quality, you can fit it because it's more heavy. So you can feel with your fingers the quality of the finishing. So it's all about this reality of feeling.
And we are still on a physical event for sourcing, so it makes sense. Any other question? No, maybe you can, we have still 1 minute remaining, so you can conclude with one sentence if you want, each of you.
If you want some help in 3D for consulting or whatever, you can talk to me.
Let's change the way we move forward in technology.
Thank you.
I would say one step at a time.
Okay, just let's innovate and think about sustainability.
If you are interested in haute couture reinvention, call me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.